The video that you're about to watch is an excerpt from a live webinar. If you enjoy the contents of this video, please like and subscribe. I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for watching. Little children have not myelinated their nervous systems yet. So their nervous systems do not function as efficiently as an adult nervous system. And a little kid, especially when a little kid is kind of wide awake and they're all in their fullness and their power and their glory and their sweetness and their beauty and all that, they know that their ability or capacity to make hardcore moral decisions isn't as efficient and it isn't as powerful as the adults around them. And so children always look to the adults around them to receive guidance of right and wrong, right versus wrong. And was this an okay thing to do, mommy, or should I have not had done it? And little children, that's what they do, right? They test boundaries. They look at their mom, they go, okay, I'm going to push on this, and then see what you say. Are you going to say it's okay, or are you going to say it's not okay? They're always testing the boundaries. A lot of boundary testing goes on. And this was like another boundary. And of course, the range and variety of evolution of the adults in our environment is pretty vast. So we have, different karmas too with different people. So part of the story is having given one's power away to the adults, but rightly so, because that's what children are supposed to do. But I would say at a deeper level than this, if we look down at the astral level of the physiology, and it's at least that deep, I would say even for you, it's even deeper. It goes down into the causal level where all the archetypes and forms of self reside. There have been memories, patterns, and impressions from the past of having had resources of various kinds and misuse them, right? And so it can happen that in a past life, you kind of gained access to some laws of nature, you had access to certain types of resources, and still feel a little bit ashamed or guilty of not having utilized those resources in the highest and best way, in the way that was best aligned with the intentions of the creator, right? Oh, all of a sudden I've got all this resource. What should I do? Well, I'll just spend some of it, I'll just do something with it. So, there, I would say the first part is the clearing of impressions and memory patterns that caused you to feel as if you weren't good enough because you didn't feel like you used the resources effectively or efficiently or in the best possible way. Of course, little kids don't trust themselves to do things the right way. That's not part of their job. Their job is to learn how to do that. The other side of it is thy resources, not my resources, right? That all the good, all the resources that we have and that we use and that come to us and that are available to us are really expressions of the one that are available at any given time. And so taking ownership of it at an individual level is part of the action that ultimately causes one to lose the resource. And it's not like you really fully lose the resource because it's still in you there a little bit, but it's that ownership at the surface of it that has this danger of placing one's individuality somehow at a higher level than the one, right? And the one is also one with us and part of us and as us, but that part of us has its own agenda that is tied into these huge, huge, huge cosmic cycles. And so it doesn't always line up with some, oh, I've got a resource, oh, I'd like to spend it like this, right? So that's more at an individual level. And the whole thing happens as a gift to allow us to reunite with the divine, with that level of divine intelligence that provides those resources in the first place, and to be united in such a way that the resources absolutely are used in the way that they were intended to be used from the highest level of universal intelligence. That's the connection. That's the connection. And I see it happening down in the belly area. I see it down in the third chakra, second chakra, first chakra areas of the body. The connection made. And the feeling, the original feeling of the bliss and the power of it, that sort of drove a little bit of a sense of being separate and even different, different from the people around, because you saw that other people didn't have that sparkle. The sparkle is the sparkle of the divine peeking through the material field of creation. And that is the gift, that is the hug, that is the embrace for the little self, for your little person. For all of us who had this experience when we were little, the embrace is all that sparkle is the divine sparkling through. It's peeking through the field of the relative into the field of our experience as us. But we see it, but we don't get confused. We don't think, oh, it's my small individual self. We realize that it's the gift of the individuality uniting with the one. It's the gift of the union. It's the gift of the union. And that is the gift of the healing, is it goes back to the little self and gives the gift of the union. Complete, beautiful, luscious, integrated connection between what we know ourselves to be as individuals and that big wholeness, that big one wholeness. It also feels as if this is an extension of a little bit of the healing that we did for the nervous system earlier, because I can feel the nervous system becoming more integrated as a result of this union. Oh, and wasn't union part of the last healing that we were just doing too? It was. So it's like now we're coming at it from a slightly different angle, which is how we do it, right? It's one of the ways that we integrate that fullness. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I see a lot. It feels as if a lot of discordant feelings are releasing from those meridians that I was talking about before, and also from the spine itself, from the nervous system itself, releasing discordant feelings, all those feelings of guilt and shame and not certain, and maybe I'm not good enough and insufficient and all that. And just when they're released, they gather up in the court of light and they swirl back to the core of Mother Earth, and they make their way back to the source of creation. And the source of creation says, oh, no, you're so beautiful. No, this is just a stress. These thought forms and these emotions were there as blockages to the sense of full connection with me. When I say me, I mean wholeness, with wholeness, my connection with wholeness. The connection filling all those spaces within the body, within the energy flow of the different chakras, within the meridians, and within the nervous system itself, the spine, the union, the light of union, the light of connectedness and intimacy. And it's so beautiful that it really can give rise to very sensations, physical sensations that are blissful and healing, blissful and healing. All the little spots in the nervous system where some little toxin had gotten stuck, or some little nerve was a little bit, crooked or something. All those little spots, they start to soften up. The toxins are identified and recognized and moved into the lymphatic system, and the little nerves, that any little nerve that's a little bit off of its comfort zone, it gets a chance to straighten back out and to reestablish connection with balance. The intelligence, the devata of the nervous system is literally going through the nervous system. The devata, the big devata that oversees the entire nervous system, of course, breaks down into smaller devatas. It comes down to each little cell has its own little intelligence that oversees it. And so working through the nervous system like that, cell by cell by cell, and supporting the highest and most robust structuring of the nervous system, cell by cell by cell. And to me, it looks like there's a freeing of energy in the heart center that comes from this, that comes from the nervous system feeling more balanced and stable. Then there's like a freeing, it's like a liberation in the heart center. So I would say if it was sitting anywhere, probably it was sitting in the heart. Like that was like the core repository of all those discordant feelings. Yeah, other people are noticing too. Thank you. And of course, as I mentioned before, the heart is the primary point of union between the individual and the divine. It's the primary point where we really have the shape of the nervous system here in this area is such that it best supports our ability to really comprehend that relationship in its most as completely as possible. Like it's sort of like the center by which that complete appreciation, understanding, recognition resides there, because it's very pure. It's like before, the heart doesn't really analyze and synthesize the way the brain does, right? The heart is just like the pure experience of it, just processing the pure experience of it.